Hi everyone, I hope y'all are doing well today. I actually had such a terrible headache yesterday. I was down. I actually did a video though yesterday, head on the pillow. I thought I had uploaded it, but I didn't. Let me tell you, my head was banging so much yesterday. And I guess sometimes I get migraines every now and then. And like I literally have to get something cold and just lay on it and just sleep. And sometimes I'm just like, oh gosh, I literally just lay on the hardwood floors and just to feel the cool from it, and then just turn the fan on me. I was just like done. But I did do a video. Um, it's called The Power of the Word and Prayer. I know I'm probably only going to get exactly 2.5 views on that, but I'm still going to upload it. Watch it. Watch it. So, anywho, I'm feeling a bit better, but I'm still a little bit, but I want to talk about something. So, I did a video, I think I uploaded yesterday or the day before that. I think it was the day before that. And it was talking about when will recognize and believe a snake when it's been revealed to you. Now, I did have somebody send me something like, well, it's a snake. It helps to keep down the population of mice and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if they're exaggerating. I have to just realize that people just, sometimes they're being funny and sometimes they just don't really know, guys. But I really hope y'all will realize that I was not talking about an actual snake, all right? Um, but I want to talk a little bit more about something that I mentioned in that video. And I spoke about how sometimes somebody will be with you and they're not attracted to you at all. You are not their type, and they feel like they're taking one for the team. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's going to show up in their behavior and how they are. Sometimes people, they just want a good girl, they want a good guy, and good man, good woman. But they're not attracted to you for whatever reason. Sometimes people have their type, and I would say don't trust what you think is your type, especially this is a channel where I talk about the Lord, but I'm also led to speak about practical issues, because I believe that the Lord dealt with everyday practical things as well as teaching people. You know what I mean? So I think that it's important for you to understand that there are people, even if they're not Christians or not, even if they are Christians, that's what I meant to say. People who claim to be believers of God, they can also be choosing you for all the wrong reasons. Now, in churches, this can go on for real because somebody could prophesy, and say, "Oh, this is your husband, this is your wife," and you are in no way feeling this person at all. Okay, and or sometimes people, you go with this person, someone want to be with you because you have a beautiful voice, because you can sing, because of your gift, because you're preaching, because you're who you're associated with. So they may want to be with you for that, but not attracted. Now, getting back to what I was saying, is sometimes you can't trust your type, what you think is your type, because really your type is based on probably your cultural influences and norms and things around you. What you have been told is beautiful, what we've been told is attractive. And so that's what you're going to be attracted to. And then, number one, first off, you're going to be attracted to your kind, because normally that's what you're around. Whatever your race is, that's going to be the first thing. And then whatever your race and culture says is beautiful, we don't even know when we're growing up what that is when we are young. But somebody says something that changes or devastates our view of things, right? Like, depending on what you look like, you thought you were fine until somebody said something about you, whether you're too short, whether they said you were fat. So now you have a definition of what fat is, and then you are also told that fat is unattractive. If you're too skinny, now you realize you're skinny, and now you have a definition of skinny being unattractive or skinny being beautiful. light skin, dark skin, white, black, long hair, short hair, kinky hair, coily hair. Those things are kind of ingrained in us through our culture and growing up and what is said. And so, therefore, you begin to build your own set of standards for what's attractive. So, it's very important that you allow God to choose your mate for you and not your stereotypes or what your type is. But anyway, let's move forward with So sometimes there are people who you are not their type and they may date you for all the wrong reasons. Okay? They're going to date you for maybe or even marry you because financially you with them together, you're like a powerhouse. All right? There's a lot of quote unquote power couples that don't like each other behind closed doors. There's a lot of power couples that sleeping in different bedrooms, okay? But the persona and even greed sometimes, just to be able, the greed for notoriety and status is what keeps them together. And then there are just people who may not be in that particular category, but they just want to get something out of you. So that's why sometimes a person can be with you, but they can't treat you right. They can't treat you right because they don't really like you. And you're going to know because eventually, it's not always the case, right? But eventually that person, those who are in this type of relationship, they're going to begin to be critical of you. They're going to begin to say things about you. They're going to want you to change the way that you look. Now, we have to have balance, right? Because sometimes if you're with someone and you've been with them for a while, there may be something they may want you to do. Like, hey, can you dress up a little more or something, right? That's all a part of a relationship. If you are gaining weight and it's unhealthy, your partner or someone has a right to say, hey, let's go walking, let's go exercise. Because that's healthy for you. It's not them being critical. But if they're just like, oh, you are so fat, you are so, oh, why are you eating? They are making you feel shame for eating, or make backhanded remarks and comments. That's different. And so they begin to criticize you. And then sometimes they're going to talk, if they begin to insult you about things that you can't even change, like your whole face, they don't like it. They don't like how you look. They don't like your shoulders. They don't like your arms. They don't like your feet. They don't like how you breathe. They don't like your chin. They don't like how your ears look. Why is your ear sticking out? Why is this? Put your hair down. You don't need to have your hair up. Not with them ears. You see? Why is your nose like that? Why are you breathing like that? I'm telling you, the minute anybody you're with begin to talk about how you're breathing and how you eat, that person does not like you. You need to hear this. They have a dislike for you. There's something else there where now they're starting to criticize that. How could you imagine being with somebody where you can't even breathe? You know what I mean? Imagine being with a person where you're eating and they are complaining about how you're eating and you're so conscious of that, how you look when you're eating. I'm trying to tell you, you got to look at that for what it is, as much as you may want to explain that away in your mind. This person does not like you. Whether they're married to you or about to get married to you, especially if someone you're about to get married to, run from that. Whether it's a man or a woman that's doing that. And sometimes you're not their type. And if they ever tell you, and if they ever mention it, because sometimes it's possible to be fair. Someone may have normally dated a certain type. Okay, you could look at anyone they've dated or who they've been with, and there's a pattern in how most of them look, right? Whether they've normally dated athletes, things of that nature, cheerleader types, models, whatever it may be, even like ruffians. And sometimes things can happen where that person genuinely falls in love with you and you're opposite, okay? But you're going to know the difference when they tend to criticize you and kind of want to make you into what their type has normally been, or if they continue to keep certain type of people around and make you feel as if you're not up with the times, or you need to be like this person, or they have this person that they continue to use as a standard for you to meet. So why don't you look like this? The girls I dated used to look like this. Why are you always wearing that? Why don't you show your legs more? Or why don't you dress down more? The women I dated was like this. The men that I dated was like this. So she wants you to pierce your ears now. Or she wants you to go to the gym and build and look a certain way. She wants you to dress a certain way. She's like completely changing you. Sometimes you're not their type, and they're trying to make you as like doable as possible. Okay, like, look, I don't really like this person like that, but if I can at least get her or him to look like this or to do these things, then I might be more attracted to them. I might like them more. And they never are, because there's always more demands. So you have to make up your mind if you're going to continue trying to jump through hoops to make this person like you. It's important that you like yourself, because if you don't like yourself, and if you don't learn that you are deserving of respect, basic human courtesies, respect, it's not good for any of us to go out and look at somebody and just say, oh, you're ugly. Oh, you're fat. Oh, you're so skinny. Oh, you don't look like this. Oh, why don't you look like that? You could be under all this pressure to look like something that you're not. And listen, that is rude. You're not supposed to do that to a stranger. So you have a right to have that basic expectation. And if that person is not being that way to you, right? If you don't feel like you deserve those things, then you're going to draw that. If you don't think much of yourself, you may never say it, but because within you feel that way, you're always going to draw people to you that will take advantage of you. So you have to decide for yourself, are you going to spend your life trying to jump through hoops, trying to look like what this person wants, trying to become what they want, allow them to do anything to you, carry out any sort of just do whatever they want you to do, even if it's demeaning to you? There are some people that does that. As I said, they don't like you like that. And it may sound cruel, guys, but we have to hear these type of things. It's important, because eventually you're going to hear it. After you invested so much of your life and years into them, in tears, and allow yourself to just be tossed to and fro, this person will eventually, if they are mistreating you now, they will leave you. And by that time, you are so drained and you are so done that you're going to just be angry at life, angry at yourself for not getting it, or begging them to be with you and being willing to be in their life on their terms in whatever way. When someone loves you and someone really cares about you, they're not going to be trying to hurt your feelings. They're not going to be criticizing you on your looks. They're not going to criticize things that you cannot change, like your teeth and your hair and your body and your shape and your skin tone. When someone is speaking about things like that, even if they're doing it in a joking manner, that person does not really like you like that. They are dating you or want to marry you because sometimes they see that you're a nice guy, they see that you're a nice and loyal woman, and they want that, but they don't necessarily like you. So what they do is they'll have you there, but then they'll go and they will be sleeping with, hanging around with, doing whatever they want to do with their ideal type, with that man or woman that is their type. And so now you find yourself being disrespected. You find yourself being told that something's wrong with you. You find yourself being told that you're overreacting when you have complaints or when you bring concerns about how they are behaving. And the truth is, they know, because a lot of times before you find out, they do it secretly. And the reason why they do things secretly is because they know it's not right. But sometimes you have those that once you find out about it, they get bold with it and they want you to accept this behavior. They want you to think that something's wrong with you. Why can't I have a friend? Why can't my friend call me? Why can't I go over there? Why can't they come over here? Why do I have to text you all the time? Why do I have to tell you where I'm at? Why can't I just come home when I want to come home? Why do you always need to know where I'm at? But let's think, when they were dating you, perhaps in the very beginning, they were giving you all those courtesies. People that's always trying to make you feel like desiring a text or a call is over the top and it's so much and they don't have time. Guys, they just don't like you. They don't have respect for you. That's what you got to realize and get it in your head. Because one of the things that I've told someone before when I was talking to them is the reason why they came up with cell phones is because back in the day, you used to have to go to a payphone and maybe wait for someone to get off the phone to make the call. So now it's convenience. Now you can say, hey, I'll talk to you in a second. Hey, I'm busy right now. Hey, is everything okay? It can pick up right then and there. If not, text you. There's so many ways to keep communication open because people are busy. So someone says, even though we're busy, we can still have phones on us, so we have a moment to at least check to see if you're okay, to at least text you to let you know, hey, I'm in a meeting. I will let you know. It is to keep that communication going. So people who have cell phones that you see, they always have their cell phones on them. They were always able to reach out to you and contact you and answer your text before. Suddenly they're not doing it and they're trying to play you to the left now, telling you, oh, it's just so hard. No, that's not what it is. They're responding back to somebody else. Believe that. But something has changed with you. And even if per se that it's not another person, that person is probably just tired of you. But they have something against you or something where they don't want to answer. And it's a power move. It really is. Now, sometimes, depending on the situation, because I can't say every situation is exactly the same, but sometimes maybe they're angry. Maybe it's something you did and they don't want to talk to you. That can happen. But we're talking about those of you right now, you're being mistreated and you don't understand. You're being rejected. You are being treated with indifference, and you're trying to figure out why. And a lot of times you know why, but you are afraid to accept that. And it goes back to yourself. It goes back to how you view yourself. If you are idolizing this person, you put them on a pedestal, and especially if you have ever made the mistake of coming into the relationship apologetic and like saying things like, oh, I don't deserve someone like you. Oh, I've never had someone like you. If you come in like that and you're acting like this person is the best thing, they're your moon and stars. I'm not talking about giving them a compliment. There's nothing wrong with complimenting them and showing you appreciate them, but downgrading yourself. You're going to set yourself up for failure. One of the things I always talk about is I've spoken about, I don't always talk about it, but I've addressed this, where let's say you have a interracial couple. And one of the things that I see brown people do a lot, not all of them, not all, but they immediately go there with this way down Moses narrative to their partner. And they begin to complain about all black people and all black women and the black men and all my people like this. And so you literally show up on their doorstep, in my opinion, like it's like they're doing you a favor by being with you because you come from this black tragic past. And so when you go there and you may talk about yourself nicely, but you're talking about your people badly, you downgrade yourself. Inadvertently, you do, because you're trying to make this person believe that you are like the last of the Mohicans. You're the last of the good quality black people. A person that's not lying and stealing and misbehaving and being social miscreants is That are you really trying to make this person believe that you're different? So if something happens, something's missing, and the china comes up missing, they're automatically could look at you, right? Because you already go there talking yourself down. You may be talking about other black people, but you're talking yourself down because you look like them. Okay? So it's just, listen, it's not all black people, it's all the black men you dated, the kind of men you chose. And it's not all black women, it's the type of black women you chose. Again, all right? Because you have not dated every black person. And all black men are not that way. I can tell you, my family, my brothers, my cousins, nobody's been in prison, nobody's been to jail. No one in my family uses profanity, as far as like you go to a family gathering and you hear just a bunch of profanity and fighting, and never. I've never been called black and ugly. I've never been called the N-word. That is just not used in my family ever. Never, ever, ever. And we're all different shades and colors in my family, from dark to like almost white looking. We have never disrespected and spoken down on each other. And my family, as far as occupation, I don't need to get into it. But I tell you what, we don't fall into the stereotypes. And everybody has their own thing. You know, I mean, there's no perfect family, but the stuff that I would hear someone going and telling people about black men, I'm like, no, not necessarily. No, it's who you're dating and who you're going out with, and whatever country you're from. Okay, it's not just black person or brown people, but you have other people. You may be Asian, okay? You may be Korean. You may be Indian. You know, like from what's that place? Like Mumbai, in places like that. And then you get with someone and you go telling them things about your people, and you're downgrading yourself. So let me get off that soapbox. If you go into any relationship, whether it is downgrading your race or really acting like, oh, thank you so much for choosing me, you act like you're not used to good things. Even if you're not used to certain things, don't voice that. If that man is doing something nice for you, don't sit there like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing that for me. Oh my God, I can't believe you're opening the door for me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're what? I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, he's going to be like, what are you used to? And then at that point, you know, hopefully he's a good guy. But if he's not, he's going to be like, man, I don't need to take her out here. I'm taking her to Captain D's next time. Not that anything's wrong with Captain D's. I mean, I don't like Captain D's, but what I'm saying is, if he's been taking you to certain places and you keep talking that way, then he's going to realize if he does not really like you, he does, but not really, he's going to change. He's going to downgrade. That woman who may like you, if you keep talking yourself down and keep saying things about yourself and your shortcomings and making yourself into a victim, then that initial attraction that she has for you will change, especially if she has to keep propping you up, if she has to keep telling you that you are attractive, if she has to keep telling you that you are capable, if she has to keep telling you certain things, she's going to change. Or if you're just acting so grateful to her, thank you so much, I've never had a woman like you before, oh, you're so pretty, the women that I've been with has been like this, or I've never done this and that. When you downgrade yourself, they begin to adjust. They may have said, let's say the level of treatment they're going to give you is at a 10. You keep talking at a 3, they're going to come right down to about a 3. All right? So that could be the problem as well. But guys, I know I've covered a lot of things, but what is very important for you is to realize and see that there are individuals sometimes that will date you for all the wrong reasons or even marry you. You are not their type at all. And they are going out with you with ulterior motives or because of who you're connected to. your money, your status, and sometimes you may not have money or status, but you're a good person and they like that. You are dependable. You may be a hardworking man, and she look at that and say, "Hey, he's hardworking. He's kind of innocent. He's a bit naive. I can work with that." Because sometimes people want a nice man, a nice woman that they can have at home, they can take for granted, a person that's going to be kind to them, good to them, loyal and faithful while they're outside running the streets. And they are so streetwise and they are so, jaded by life that they'll know how to talk circles around you. They'll know how to manipulate you. They'll know how to make you feel guilty. They'll know how to just pull you in all the time because you're not that type of person. If you're with a man, he's not manipulating and vindictive, and he's with a woman who just knows how to be very manipulating and sexual and deviant and cold at the same time. She's gonna run circle around that man, and a lot of times her tears and throwing some good sex on him is gonna make him stay right there. A woman could be the same thing. That man's going to play games with her, run circles around her, be cold and aloft, make her feel bad, make her feel guilty, all this stuff, because they've been out, they've been around, they know how to do that. And the bottom line is that's why they would have chosen you, because you're a nice person, you're a loyal person, you're a faithful person, so they can really destroy that. And what happens when they destroy you and let's say they move on, you're by yourself, what happens is you end up being filled with resentment and hurt and pain. So when someone comes along in your life that really loves you and really wants to excuse me, and really wants to be with you, you're not going to be able to give that to them because what you had has been destroyed. And now you're looking at them with suspicion. Now you're going to set up boundaries with them when you should have done it with the wolf that was in your life. Now, as a believer in the Lord, I would tell you, how do you overcome that? It's by asking the Lord to help you. Because when someone hurts you, it's like a spiritual thing that takes place. Okay? Sometimes you have those soul ties and something spiritual happens. And so while yes, it's good to go to counsel. Why yes, it's good to listen and read self-help books. I will not say you can't do it and you shouldn't. It's good. God has created these organizations to help us. But overall, as far as really being able to be healed spiritually, they can't help you to do that. And so you pray and you seek God and you ask him to help you and to show you where these things started, because there's a root to it. It can be your childhood, and you may know some things that has happened in your childhood, but only through Christ are you going to be able to really, really get the healing you need. And I can tell you that for myself and my own experience. There's so many people who have they've used Christianity and certain organizations to make God seem like some fanatical, over the top, just crazy entity or being, but that's not what it is. The Lord definitely sees you where you're at in your life, and if you are willing to talk to him and just speak out, well, where's God? He's everywhere. He's omnipresent, and he's going to be able to help you to understand why certain things have happened in your life. And he can lead you towards a path of healing, because a lot of times what people do is, okay, they go to counseling and they get all the practical things, but then they still have this hurt deep within that no amount of practical steps is helping. If anything, it's just temporary. And then what they find themselves doing is going around hurting other people. Now they become the mean ones. You see, it's like a cycle. You get hurt, and then you go hurt other people. And then that person who loved you and really cared for you, now they're hurt and they go and they hurt other people. And so you find more often, that's why I believe more often than not, you're going to run into someone who's no good than someone who is. Because perhaps that person used to be kind and loving, but they learned some things happened to them. They may have gone to counseling and all of that, but they've never been healed spiritually. And so they feel like, even though they're getting practical measures, now I need to be tougher and stronger. I need to be the mean one. I need to be the one to leave, which makes perfect sense when you've been hurt. But there is the nature of God is so different that you will be inclined to see what happened in your childhood or what happened at certain times of your life. He will allow you to even see why this person is the way that they are. Not that it's okay. And he will show you what you do moving forward. When you get these answers of your beginnings or certain significant emotional events that happen that change your life, then it's going to make sense to see why you chose this type of person, why you tolerated them as long as you did, why you allow them to mistreat you that way. You begin to see why you are where you're at. And God will take you through the process of healing, believe it or not, right along with all the practical steps of going to see a counselor and all of that, eating right, exercise, and taking care of yourself. God also will change you from the inside. And what he's going to do, he's going to give you discretion. He's going to give you wisdom. He's going to give you the understanding and the knowledge that comes from him, so that you'll be able to discern who's before you. And you're not going to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. It's up to you if you want to take that part or not. I'm a believer in the Lord, and I share that part, okay? So those of you listening, well, yeah, I listen to that part, but that part right there, you can shelve it, you can choose it or not. But it's up to you. Those of you that are believers in the Lord, you understand exactly what I'm saying. And so, because Christians are making bad mistakes too. That's why there's so much scandals. That's why people are not coming into the church, because it's a hot mess up in there. Maybe not all of them, but enough to cause a ruckus. That's why so much is going on. It's like bats and barracudas up in church. Roaches and rats, wolves, flies, gnats, armadillos running all up in there. And they're not changing. Nobody's changing. They're just going in there and misbehaving. Because people are not dealing with things within on the inside, not being real. And so people go into the church to hide it and to ambush people. So many have gotten married to people because someone prophesied to them and said this was your husband or this was your wife. And you force yourself to go into this marriage or to create this union, and now your life is a living hell. Because there's a fantasizing that happens. People they want to be a pastor's wife or a deacon's wife or this musician's wife or this pastor's aide's wife. They want to do that. They think about all this stuff and not realizing at the core of all of it, or be someone's husband. Let me be a flippant as well. Oh, if I marry her, she sings so well and all of this, and she looks like she would be a good wife for me. And someone tell you that, and you go along with them, and this person have issues and got problems. You realize they don't read their Bible at all. They're not praying. They pray at church, but they don't pray at home. And so you'll be dealing with this person who is abusing you, who's mistreating you, who's telling you they never liked you, that's cheating on you, that's lying to you. And then what happens when you go to try to tell people in the church, they're telling you need to keep quiet about it. If this man or woman is of someone of stature and has a status, they want you to protect the brand and suffer and make you feel like you are displeasing God by if you have questions about this person who presents a certain way at church but is actually completely different at home. Now it becomes you're the bad guy. And I'll do another video about that. But the bottom line is, no one can tell you who God said is your wife or husband and not have told you. Okay? Don't get into relationships that it's like, nah, no. You have a right to say, nah, I don't believe that. Nah, I'll think about that. And if it's just not sitting with you, sitting right with you, don't force yourself. and others, and do not just choose somebody because you think y'all will look good together and you don't really like that person. It's true that sometimes people are happily married to individuals that they did not like at first. That happens a lot. You look at the person that you did just nothing and you just didn't like them, but eventually you did. This is a different dynamic that we're talking about. We're talking about someone who looks at you, know already they don't like you, but they want something from you, so they're going to pretend to like you because they figure you're a good match for them, or you will be a good fit in terms of to their benefit. You know what I mean? So guys, see it for what it is. The Bible says, by their fruit they shall be known. What does that mean? By their character. It's not that you're going to judge someone based on mistakes that they make, but by what they're consistently known for. Okay? What they do on a consistent basis is their fruit. My grandmother had a guava tree in the front yard. I would go climb up in the tree. It was a skinny little tree. I go climb up in there and I get the guava. Now sit there and just eat them. Can't eat too much though, because it make you have diarrhea. But you know what? Every now and then that tree I look and see that the guava is not good. I know I can't eat this one, but most of the fruits were good. Okay? So what I'm saying is, it's not about, well, they're mostly good but partially bad. What I'm saying is, a tree, you shall know there by their fruits. We knew this was a healthy guava tree because it brought more healthy guavas than bad ones. Okay? So it was consistently giving out good fruit that was edible, that can be used. Okay, my grandma would sometimes make guava jam and guava jelly and all these different things because it consistently brought good fruit. So we knew those little bad ones every now and then, it's not what it consistently does. So it's the same thing with a person that you're with, whether it is a friend or anyone, what they consistently do. Because every last one of us can make mistakes. You can say something out of anger one day. You can be upset. You may do something inadvertently. You didn't mean to hurt a person. But if a person consistently, if what they bring forth most of the times is hurtful to you and demeaning to you, then you know the kind of person you're dealing with. If they say sorry most times and repeat it, this is the type of person that they are. And you make the choice. And if you're going to continue to allow that behavior. People are afraid to be alone, but sometimes you're with someone and you're still alone. There are people who are married, living in big houses and all that, and they're alone. They're lonely. They will be ignored. They'll be mistreated. And then they begin to have children, and that person, that spouse, whoever, can begin to play the children against them. And I don't think there's anything more painful than that. Well, they'll talk to their children, laugh with them, smile with them, everything, and ignore their spouse sitting right there. And if the spouse is correcting them, that it's correcting the child, then that spouse that's being hurtful will side with the child against the parent. You think long term, think about your life when you're with these individuals. And there's some people that's living that life right now, and all I can tell you is pray and ask God to help you. If you feel helpless, all you can do right now is pray. Don't think about taking your life. Don't think about fighting and screaming and doing all these different things. Don't think about what everybody else is telling you to do. You pray and you ask God to give you a way out of no way, and He will. He will. An opportunity will come. But what happens? A lot of people, these opportunities come and they get scared. Oh, well, what if I don't want to be by myself? I'm probably never going to have this opportunity again. This is probably an opportunity you don't want. If someone sees that you are willing to do anything to be with them, no matter how much they've insulted you, and they are just with you not because they like you. You're not their type, but they just want stuff from you, and they see that you're still staying there, it's going to get worse. So this is not something that you can just spring up overnight and do, but it is a decision that you have to make and realize, yes, it's going to hurt. Yes, I'm going to cry. Yes, I may miss this person. But I always say it's better to move forward crying but getting stronger than to stay somewhere with a person and be abused and be mistreated and be diminished. And eventually they probably leave you anyway. Or they'll stay with you and do you wrong all throughout your youth and your life and their prime. And then when they're all wore out, nobody want them anymore, then they want to sit back at home with you and give you the shell of a husk of themselves, and probably still being rude and disrespectful to you while you're still helping them. You only have one life to live, and sometimes you will really forfeit some moments of happiness, whether it's with someone or not. You will forfeit all of these possibilities, even if it's just having a place for yourself and some peace and be able to just sit and eat ice cream on your patio without anybody telling you can't eat, telling you fat. You forfeit all these things by being afraid of what if. All right, guys, I'm going to stop here. I didn't mean for this video to be so long, but I hope this helps somebody. Sometimes you're not their type. Sometimes they do not like you, and that's why they will hurt you. And know this, if someone loves you, they will not want to hurt you. They will care about what you feel. They will be concerned about what concerns you. They'll not mock and laugh at you. They'll not allow anyone else to disrespect you. And there's another thing that I'm going to talk about in another video, guys. I'll save that for another day. It's just something that I saw and I want to talk about it. I've done a video. It's called Friends of the Opposite Sex. And I saw something not too long ago that really broke my heart. And I want to talk about it with you guys. And probably do a small little bit on that as well. All right, guys. Peace.